This is one of those things that the culture continues to change, and as we go through all these evolutions, one of the things that kept thinking, coming to my mind was that let he who hath not sinned cast the first stone.
We've been wondering, when it comes to Oscars, how exactly is the statute, or shall we say, statute of limitations applied?
Kevin Hart had to step down as host of the upcoming Academy Awards because of homophobic tweets from 2011. But didn't the Academy nominate Mel Gibson for an award just last year?
Yes, they did. Gibson had spent years in show business purgatory because of an anti-Semitic drunken rant. When does Hollywood or our culture determine when a sin is forgiven or forgivable, or what, in fact, is a sin? Here's Willie Geist with Jerry Seinfeld from an interview you can see on Sunday Today.
When I started out, there were dirty comedians. Go back to the cursing thing. Well, if you want to get on the Tonight Show, or if you want to get on TV, you can't use any of those words. All those words are out. And a lot of us went, okay, I still want to play. I'll play.
Yeah.
Oh, here's a new rule. We're cutting this out. Okay, I'll get around that. So that's our thing.
Lenny Bruce was arrested in the early 1960s and convicted of using obscenities. George Carlin would figure out how to make those same obscenities into a joke.
You might be the lady from the San Diego Zoo visiting one of the Tonight shows, and you might just have a bunch of little canines with you there. One of them is a female. You say, there's the bitch, Johnny, and it's okay, fine. Just don't refer to the singer the same way, that's all.
Comedians are forever testing boundaries. Joan Rivers did it nightly.
Bugs Bunny saw my rear end and went, now I know what's not up, Doc. My boots! Oh, think how I feel!
The line between cutting edge and bad taste is so fine it can draw blood.
Do something about your dad's immigration practices, you feckless.
Samantha Bee's blunt language describing Ivanka Trump earned immediate rebuke.
Crossed the line, I regret it, and I do apologize for that.
And because we live in a digital age, nothing is disposed of, and nothing is forgotten. Enhanced by social media, judgment is quick, and the echo chamber is loud. Nuance and goodwill are rare visitors. Here's Willie again with Sarah Silverman.
Yeah. It's scary to speak out when you know there are people actually organizing to take you down through your own comedy. Comedians explore the darkest places of humanity. And if you couple that with the fact that comedy is not evergreen, it's art, it changes with the times.